Well, hi, I'm Gary Barnes International. It's interesting when my clients and people that have been around me with the story of no try have been asking me to do a little longer video about the concept of no try and why I connected to it. Many of us around the Star Wars where we know about Yoda and there is a story of do or do not, there is no try. And even with that story, when I went through some of the things that I have gone through in my life, like with the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis in 1988 and some other things, just general business things, to when things weren't working out the way I wanted to. And I was thinking about maybe it was me or I was just looking for a reason. And so I really embrace the concept that there is no try. You either do it or you don't do it. In fact, on my car, the license plate says no try. And so one of the things I wanted to bring out in this video is the concept of why there is literally no try. And for years, people would come to me with, well, what about I attempted it. I go, well, that's just a fancy try. And so I built a schematic around what no try means to me. And I hope it's beneficial to you. So what I did is in the schematic, there's three parts. The first part is you make a decision. You want to accomplish something. You want to do something in a significant way. So that decision in and of itself is just step one. So the step two is to put action to that desire, that decision of something that you're wanting to accomplish. And then the third part is where we get hung up, and that is in the result. When we receive a result that wasn't quite what we wanted or wasn't what we wanted at all, that's when we look for that concept of, well, I gave it the good old college try. And in reality, it's just a new point of decision. But when we get that result that we don't want, or we feel inferior for some reason, is that we start to do something I call rationalizing. And I started looking at words, what were the meanings underneath the word itself. And when I looked at rationalize, I broke it into two words, rationalize. Rationalize. We create stories to really substantiate what we have done, what we have received, or what we haven't received, to do something or not to do something. Well, it's just not for me, it's just for others. And in reality, again, it's just a new point of decision. If you got a reaction, if you got a result that you wanted, then it's do it again. Maybe do it even at a higher level to get even a bigger result. But if you didn't get what you were wanting or expecting out of that energy, time, money, and energy investment, then let's look at what you could change. Make a new decision, put new action to it to get a new result. One of the things that I have studied biographies of successful individuals throughout history, and very rarely it's a one and done. It is really launch and adjust. It's another concept that I live by, is that looking at what can we do, how can we do it differently to get a different result. And so it never feels good not to get a result because we have a tendency to look at ourselves as a failure. John Maxwell talks about failing forward. It's in the lessons of failing, quote, or in my mind, just not getting the result that we're wanting or intending to receive. That's where the lessons are. That's how we learn to go from point A to point B to point C and anywhere we really want to go. But it's in the tenacity, it's in the resiliency of not looking at ourselves as being inadequate, not looking at ourselves as somehow being bad or not deserving. It's really looking at it as a journey, as an experience, and how can we continually improve that experience. And something else when we start doing things for the first time. I remember a woman about 10 years ago came up to me after one of my speeches And she goes, "Oh, Gary, you got good." And I go, "Well, what was I before this?" And she goes, "Oh, you were okay, but now you got good." And my response to her was, "I hope so. I've been doing it for a number of years after you heard me the first time." So we're progressing. We're always looking for that next level, the nuances that we can improve upon, how to make it even a little bit better, a little more impactful, whatever the result is, how to increase that both for ourselves and for those that we touch. So I would encourage you all to embrace no try. Anytime that you hear the word try, or for me, when I hear it, I really get bummed out because, it's just like fingernails on the chalkboard. And so what I would suggest to help us start hearing what we are saying is to ask if you have children at home, if you have a spouse, if you have a friend, anytime you say the word try, go ahead and just give them permission to say what? And it's going to be a pattern interrupt. You're going to start eliminating this out of your vocabulary. Because I'll give you one last example to really prove this point, is that let's say that you're going to have a party on Saturday night, and you ask your best friend to come over to the party, and their response is, "Well, we'll try to make it." Do you expect them to come? And the answer normally is no. They're just not wanting to tell you no because they don't like hearing no themselves. And so when we say try to ourselves, we're telling our subconscious that we're actually backing out and not, we're hesitating, we're hedging in whatever that decision it is because we really don't believe it internally. So when we say, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I expect, and then put the action to it, that's when we're going to see the massive results over time. And it may happen very quickly, but it may take a while for you to get those results as well. So if you have any questions, and again, this was a little longer video, but I wanted to bring this to you because in my life it has really served me very, very well. If you have any questions, you can reach me at Gary@GaryBarnesInternational.com. Until next time, we'll see you soon.